Hello, I'm Dave Mowitz and welcome to Successful Farming. On today's program, I'm tracking the prices being paid for John Deere four-wheel drive tractors. And then we feature a shop furnace made from a cabin stove. Jolene Brown shares her observations on how to improve family relationships on a farm. And after these brief messages, Jessie Scott returns with a report from our farmer evaluators on a select group of UTVs. So please stay tuned.
Welcome to this special Product Test Team edition of the Successful Farming TV show. Our farmer evaluators spent the last 6 months testing the newest side-by-sides from Caterpillar, Mahindra, and Polaris. In this episode, each farmer shares what he loved, liked, and would change about each machine. First, we head to Paul Heinemann's farm in Ogden, Iowa. Paul, along with his brother and their sons, grows corn and soybeans. They've been trying out this Caterpillar CUV82.
I farm with my brother, Craig. He has one son that farms with us, Brett, and I have two sons, twins boys, that are Andrew and Marcus, that farm with us. And then we've got 4 employees that work, part-time help, corn and soybean farmers. Well, we have 2 four-wheelers before we got the use of this machine. So we're used to, off-roading type equipment, but this is a lot handier than four-wheelers. It's handy because it's easy to get into. That's the thing you really like about it. It's easy to get into, starts and goes. It's a fast machine, so it's up in the high 40s speed-wise, and so it goes from farm to farm real easy. We use it, just a myriad of anything. We had a sprayer in the back for a while. We haul things, just to go out and check crops. It's a lot easier than, especially in the spring, when you want to drive across the field, you pack it with a pickup real well. These don't pack so well, they float a lot better. We had to haul the tow rope out to the equipment this spring. It works a lot better to get closer to it than a pickup or dragging it across some mud. So the four-wheel drive's handy when you're, especially in the spring. This spring, when it was so wet anyway. So it was, but I think we only got stuck once. It's got plenty of power. It works really well. The suspension, this has maybe a softer suspension than a lot of them do, but when you're going across a rough field, that's nice. We'll put a small trailer behind it. I mean, around the yard here, we'll move corn heads or whatever. It's strong enough to do that and pull stuff around like that. The engine braking worked real well. It's been a real versatile machine for us. This isn't unique to this machine, but when it gets dusty, if you have the windshield on, it kind of circles dust around in there, but I say that's not unique to this machine, so it's something that would be nice for somebody to figure out. We put a rear view mirror in it, because that was something you like to see behind you without cranking your neck around, and so that was one feature that would be really nice to have standard.
Our second group of evaluators was the Rezac family in Onega, Kansas. We caught up with Jay Rezac to hear how this diversified operation used the Mahindra Retriever 1000.
We farm near Onega, Kansas. We farm and ranch with my brother Lance. His daughter Nicole is back into the operation. My 2 sons, Russell and Matthew, are also into our operation, and my son-in-law is in our operation. So we are a family business. We run a cow-calf, background, feedlot, stocker operation. Crops, we have corn, beans, wheat, put up a lot of hay. We have also we have a hog operation. We use ATVs exclusively, side-by-sides. We use them mostly on the ranching side. They also use it on the farming side for scouting and things like that in the fields. The Mahindra was a 1,000 size unit, and it was stable. It was a little bit bigger than the ones that we drive now, and so it was stable going down the road. It had nice speed, which is something that we do have to have here because we have to get out and drive 5-6 miles between pastures and things like that, so we want one that has a little bit of speed. And we did do some spraying with it, and it handled the weight of the you know, a 75-gallon sprayer with water in it, it handled the weight real nice on that. We do a lot of hauling. We go out and throw like mineral, the cows and stuff. We'll throw in 1,000, 1,500 pounds of mineral in the back of a side-by-side and go out in the pastures and do that. Spraying pastures and burning pastures is where they get a lot of use, because we have like a 60 and a 75-gallon tank that we put in there with water, and either we use to spray or like just burning pastures to put the fires out and to maintain them. If you wanted a flatbed, that was kind of handy if you wanted to let your sides down and wanted a straight flatbed on your side-by-side, so that was kind of handy. The windshield was just kind of a plexiglass windshield, so it wasn't very, if you got any rain or mist, it just kind of was hard to keep clean and kind of wiggled when you went down the road. We had broke one rear axle. One day we were spraying with that and we broke a rear axle CV joint, tore it off the rear end. And while we're talking about the negatives, one other thing we didn't like was that it was loud. The muffler, it was not a quiet machine, and we drive up to, we tag a lot of cows. We tag about 850 babies of spring with it, and it would actually, the cows would be loud enough, they'd pick up and want to leave. And our other UTVs, we could just cruise up by them and step out and tag the calf. And so that was not very handy. But the mechanical problems we had, a lighter use work possibly would be more effective on this machine.
Our final evaluator was Zach Robinson from Clio, Iowa. Zach runs a row crop and cow-calf operation with his family, where they've been testing the Polaris Ranger XP1000.
I farm with my dad and my wife and all 3 kids. We raise corn, soybeans, and beef cows. We have experience with ATVs. We've had side-by-sides and four-wheelers all our life. Now we use the Ranger for all sorts of things around here. We check cows with them, we scout crops. We've used AI in cows, getting cows in, and fixing fence, building fence. What I most liked about the machine was the power that it has, the turning, the maneuverability of it. Our other side-by-side, we had to have a four-wheeler around so you could chase cows because it just wasn't maneuverable enough. And this is the first one I've ever seen that you could actually replace everything with the one machine. The storage on the Polaris is tremendous. It's got all kinds of storage underneath the dash, in the dash, couple glove boxes, storage under the seats. This side-by-side has a full-size battery in it, and the seat folds up so you can put the semen tank in the cab with you and plug the heater into it and leave the key on. It's got enough battery to run the heater for, we've had it on going several hours. The throttle control on the Polaris is very nice. You can hit it on the work mode and your foot is not real touchy that way. You can ease into things. If you get out on the road or want to get after something pretty fast, you can flip it over onto performance and the power's there. Since the Polaris is a quieter running machine, you can get around cows that are calving without upsetting them. You can get in there without them getting crazy on you. There's been a few situations we got in where you had to flip it to four-wheel drive. It was flawless. You just flip it and it's already in and you're out. If there's anything I'd change about the Polaris, would be the nets, which is an option. You can option up to the side doors, which is a plus. The nets make it a little harder to get in and out of. They're a little more difficult, time consuming to get shut. What's supposed to be a safety feature turns into a safety hazard when you try getting in and out of it when they don't come unlatched in the bottom. After driving this one for a while, you kind of take it for granted till you get back in the other one, and then you don't realize how good this one is.
We asked each evaluator to rank his machine out of 5 stars, with 5 stars being the highest rating. Here's what they had to say. I
would say 4, 4.5. It's really a good machine.
I would call it probably a 2, 2.5 in there somewhere.
The Ranger, I would give it a solid 5 stars. I couldn't down it enough over the nets to ever pull anything away from it because you can option up to take care of that problem. Other than that, I absolutely love the machine.
Hi there, I'm Jolene Brown, a professional speaker and family business consultant from Eastern Iowa. Oh, and by the way, I am also a real Farmer Brown. We recently hosted on this farm and at this table individuals who had never been on a working farm before. And oh, did we have fun as we explored the buildings outside. They loved the elevator and the leg, the dryer and the grain bin. And then we opened up the doors and there were the trucks and the tractors, the carts and the wagons. And then, of course, we went to the combine, and oh my gosh, as I opened those side shields, they looked at all the gears and the pulleys and the shafts, and they said, my gosh, Jolene, who maintains all of this stuff? Who keeps it going? And that's when I had to laugh, because that would be my husband, Keith. He is a great mechanic. Not only does he do a lot of prevention work so we don't have the problems, but when there is one, he's inside there getting it fixed. And you can just count on it, at least once every harvest season, something is going to break down. But if I ever walk into the shop and I see that all the tools are on the floor and he's got all the tin off and he's inside banging away, I will hear these words. He mutters, gosh darn, I wish that blankety blank engineer who had designed this thing would have to come out here and fix it. And he's so right. It is so much easier to engineer and assemble than it is to fix. The same is true in a family business. Oh, we'll design it. We'll be so excited and bring another generation into the business. And then we're going to increase our acres and our equipment and our critters and our crops. Wouldn't you know, we go to an attorney and the attorney says, hey, let's form an LLC or a corporation and don't forget a buy-sell agreement. And then there's the accountant who will say, well, you better be saving some taxes and income taxes. So yes, it's easy to design, but what happens if the family business breaks down? There are things like conflicting goals and standards, personalities, people will want to communicate differently. And then what about the big ones that bring us down? Death or disability or divorce or debt. Well, what I know is that you must focus on these as well, because you are the engineer. You are also the mechanic. And if you don't take care of these things ahead of time and as they bridge up, then you understand that your family business just might be in trouble. Work hard to keep it running smoothly. Let's honor the family by doing the business right. I hope to meet you at upcoming speaking events, but if I don't see you there, you can always go to my website, jolenebrown.com. You'll find a lot of resources because together we need to honor our families and do the business right.
Join me at a sale to see what a late model John Deere 8530 sells for after these brief messages. Welcome to Steel Deals. If you are looking to upgrade your tillage or planting tractor, the marketplace offers the opportunity to capture horsepower that comes equipped with such advances as continuously variable transmission, power beyond hydraulics, and front axle suspension. This John Deere 8530 up for sale at today's auction is a good example of this. This is a 2008 model selling with just over 4,200 hours. Features that this tractor will offer is Deere's IVT continuously variable transmission with seamless shifting between gears. Their ILS front suspension system that keeps front duals in constant contact with the field for greater power transfer. Front and rear duals with front and rear weights and power beyond hydraulic port to feed a planter's drive system, in addition to 4 hydraulic outlets. Now, this tractor is selling with 4,200 hours, which is a reasonable amount of use for a 10-year-old machine. I'll be interested to see what a tractor that is ready to go to the field will sell for at today's sale. To get a feel for what used horsepower is selling these days, let's go talk to Tim Meyer of Cephas Group. This is the auction firm that's conducting today's sale. Hey Tim, we're looking at that 2008 8530, and for a 10-year-old tractor, that's in really great shape.
That tractor is a very unique tractor. I really like that tractor. That tractor came from a local farmer. He bought it new, about 35, 40 miles north of here. The neat thing about that tractor is it's got row crop tires, but it's the big boy of the 8000 series. Right. So that tractor would lend itself for planting, tillage, spraying, if you wanted to side dress with it. Anything that you want to do, that tractor lends itself for, and it's totally loaded up. Love that tractor.
We still have a lot of late model tractors on the marketplace, although we've been thinning that out. You know, 2014s, 13s, 14s, some 15s out there. This is a 2008. Do you think it's going to be bringing a little stronger price in the past because guys don't want to afford a 2 or 3 year old tractor and they're not looking at new horsepower? Or can we expect it to trade for what it has been in the last several years?
I think that tractor has got a very good resale because it's pre-def, and that tractor has got the horsepower to pull the bigger implements that these guys want to do yet. So an 08 tractor with 4,200 hours on it, I think that tractor is going to land somewhere between 110 and 120,000.
Thanks for that information, Tim. Let's watch that 2008 8530 sell.
175, give me 116, 115, 16, 115 minute, $116,000. Before you can buy him, you gotta find 115, 16, 17, 117 minute, $118,000, 118 minute, 18 minute, 118 minute, 18 minute, 118, 19, 119 minute, 19 minute, 120, 120, 120, 120, 20 minute, $120,000, 119, 120, 20 minute, 120 minute, 119, 120, 119 minute, 120 minute, 120. My goodness sakes, it stands so tall. 119, 120, 119 minute, 120. Dueled up, weighted up, you're buying it ready to go. 120, 119 minute, 120, $10, 119 minute, 120, 119 minute, 120, 120, 20 minute, 120, but 120 bomb, 120 bomb, 120 bomb, but 2, 122, 120 bomb, but 2, 2 minute, 120 bomb, but 2, 120 bomb, but 122, but 122, but 22, but 121, 2, 120 bomb, but 122, 10 to bid, 20 bomb, but 122, 121, 122, 121. You can't only buy quality only so often. Help yourself. 121, 122, 120 bomb, but 2, 10, but 120 bomb, but 2, we're done. 120 bomb, but 122, 120 bomb, but 122, but 122. Internet, you still with me? 120 bomb, but 122, but 122. Let's call 120 bomb, but 2, 121 from the ring, $122,000. Thanks for the help. Sold the tractor, $121,000. Put it on the
Well, the final bid on our 8530 was $121,000. Prior to this sale, I spent time on the internet searching for sales reports on similar tractors. Now, tractors of this age and also equipped with the same type of equipment sold for between $114,000 up to $123,000. And a dozen tractors also meeting this description were on sale on dealers' lots. Their asking prices ranged from $124,000 up to $130,000. Knowing what similar tractors are valued at going to auction or heading to a dealer's lot gives you a huge peace of mind prior to buying or bidding. And you now have the opportunity to get free appraisals from the authority on equipment values from Iron Solutions, used by banks, manufacturers, and dealers from across North America. Iron Solutions gathers actual dealer sales, auction prices, and wholesale transactions on equipment that's been built in the last 20 years. Iron Solutions is the place dealers go to set trade-in offers or sale prices. To get your 2 free appraisals each month, go to agriculture.com/whatsitworth. I'll see you again next week on another Steel Deals Report. Next up, we showcase how Tyler Joseph modified a cabin stove to heat his entire shop. So please stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Tyler Joseph from Hampton, Nebraska, and this is my waste oil heater that I've made out of an old cast iron wood stove. It's pretty much just you have to drill a hole through the side of the stove, and then it's just 3/4 black iron pipe through the side of the stove with a 1/4-inch copper tube down the center of it. And then that 1/4-inch copper tube goes to a waste oil tank that has oil in it with a needle valve in it to adjust the flow. And then there's a blower that blows air through the 3/4-inch pipe around the 1/4-inch tubing to add air to the fire and cool the copper tube. To start it, you've got to put diesel fuel down in the pot, and then light the diesel fuel, and then slowly open the needle valve till you get the flame about right, and then you kind of fine tune it from there. And then to distribute the heat off the stove, I have a old furnace blower that I have behind the stove to distribute the heat throughout the shop. If it's not real cold in the shop, it'll usually heat it to around 70 degrees. I definitely would stay in or around the shop while you're operating this, just for safety reasons. For more about this idea and other farm inventions, go to agriculture.com/TV.
Please join the Successful Farming crew next week for another show. In the meantime, be sure to visit this show's website at agriculture.com/TV to get more information on this show and to visit past episodes. See you again next week on another episode of Successful Farming. Hi, I'm Dave Mowitz. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, hit subscribe right here if you haven't already, and click that little bell right here to be notified when we post a new video. And click here to see more great episodes from Successful Farming Television.